Welcome to this week's Debate of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. You know it, you love it, you gotta have more of it, and I've been an asshole for not doing enough of it. I haven't had enough time and a lot of interest, so I apologize. I'm hoping that I'll do more Debate of the Weeks. I'm gonna see if I can do more next week and the week after. I really want to get back into this because I did enjoy it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me see if I got this lined up straight. Okay, if I'm a little crooked, I'm sorry. This week's Debate of the Week is going to be on 4 subjects. Let's get the TNA subjects done first. My feelings about Bram. Now, I believe I stated in my TNA Impact review that I was going to elaborate more on Bram. I'm hoping that's the one I'm not messing up next to 3D I'm going to talk about. But this is my thinking about Bram in general. He is from WWE. He's not a great character, but this is my feeling about it. Now that we know the Stairway to Janice is going to happen next week, and I've said this in my previous Impact, before this one it just came out, that when it comes to Bram, he could be the one they pass the torch to from the Abyss to him as a sadistic, very violent, very destructive person. Now, the thing is, when you look at wrestling promotions in general, like when it comes to The Undertaker, there has been no one The Undertaker could pass the torch to. There's never been ever really a character next to Kane that he could pass the torch to. Kane comes in a different situation. He comes in supposedly as The Undertaker's brother. And in that respect, when it comes in like that, you're not really passing the torch if you win against The Undertaker. You're just an extension of The Undertaker universe, The Undertaker storyline. There's never been anyone who has had such a great strength of character that could have had a torch passed to, except for one person. That was basically Bray Wyatt. As I've stated, if Kane had worked with the Wyatts and worked for Bray Wyatt, he could have been that character that is so rare and unique that if he had faced The Undertaker, it would have been better for him to get that streak, if you're going to talk about it. Now, I know I've said many times before, if it wasn't going to be Brock Lesnar, the best person who has the most years and who could have gotten some very good, real benefit out of it would have been John Cena, because they've never faced at each other. It upsets me to think John Cena facing The Undertaker, but it would have made sense. He's been the most well promoted, he has the most years, and he could have got the most out of it. And they've never faced each other at a WrestleMania. Never. They faced each other at an event in 2004 or 5. That's it. So whatever problems they have between each other, it'll never happen the way anybody thinks. But if you're thinking about a character who actually could get the most out of it, that's similar in some respects to The Undertaker, that's Bray Wyatt. And I wish they had done it that way, but they did. When it comes to a Bram, the best person to pass a torch to for Bram is The Abyss. Because Bram is such a violent, sadistic, destructive person. Having this match actually would be passing a torch. Would be passing Janice. I would love to see Bram get Janice. I would love to see Bram basically if they have to make a new 2x4 with nails in it, fine. I would love to see that they slim down the 2x4 a little bit and make it specifically for him. If they let him win this match, which I really believe would be the wisest thing to do. Let the Abyss disappear for a while. Let the Abyss legacy move on to someone else. Let Bram take that Abyss legacy and then run with it. And then build on top of it. That's what my hope is with Bram. And I'm not saying Bram is the best wrestler. He's not. I'm not saying Bram is the biggest wrestler. He's not. I'm not saying Bram is the most well-built character. He isn't. But he is well-built enough. He works just well enough in the ring. He talks well enough that if you pass the torch between him and Abyss, it actually would be the most wisest thing to do. Hell, Randy Orton has been a legend killer for how many years? And he's not a big-ass man, but he beats Big Show like he's a bitch. So why can't Bram get that? Now, let's move on to Team 3D and my feelings about them facing the Wolves. This is my thought. They've already beaten the Hardys. I'm talking about the Wolves. My thought is that if they are going to challenge the Dudleys, if we're going to make it really clear, the way they were dressed in this Impact, 3D, I believe they're going to take the belts and then they're going to retire with them at Bound for Glory. Does that mean Devon is going to be retired completely from wrestling? Does that mean Bully Ray will? I don't know. But as a tag team, it doesn't mean they have to wrestle anymore. They can actually retire with the belts around their waist. And then after that Bound for Glory, they can have a tag team championship tournament to see who can get the belts again. To have them retire with it actually wouldn't be a bad homage to them, if I'm pronouncing homage right. You get my point. Let these guys retire with 24 titles. Let them retire with them. If they're going to wrestle anymore after that, that's something entirely different. Let's just hope that if they do wrestle, they'll be wrestling as singles competitors. I admit, letting Devon retire with the belt and then leave TNA after that would be a nice gift to him. Bully Ray, maybe he'll stay around for another year. And then he retires. I mean, he's over 40. He's about my age or over. I just celebrated my 43rd birthday on the 27th of July. Yeah, I don't look bad, do I? But you get my point. He's at least 45, 46, I believe. Maybe around 43 or 44. Somewhere around those ages. I think he's about 44 or 43, about my age. So, seeing the guy, and he's probably this fucking tall compared to me with my hands going well past my head. If he does retire, it actually would be a nice gift to him. Let him retire with his watch and the titles with Devon. But I would like it if they do retire, right after Bound for Glory, they have a tag team tournament to see who becomes the next champion. They can actually build this up going into Genesis. That would be epically good for them. Counting if they still are part of Spike. Now let's move on to the ADR getting fired. I could leave this for the end, but I thought I'll leave something else entirely different. ADR getting fired is ridiculous. It's so sad to see the WWE so racist. It is. Let's be honest here. WWE being so racist is terrible. And I wish they didn't have this, but they do. And understanding that maybe it was executive producer or producer of the show that said something derogatory to ADR and he got the spits, he got the shit slapped out of his mouth. It's understandable in ADR's perspective. Getting fired was wrong. And I kind of hope that ADR files a wrongful firing, whatever. I'm just saying that if he sues the WWE, I wouldn't mind him doing that. A wrongful, what do you call it? A wrongful release from my contract, breaking of my contract, breach of contract, it doesn't matter. Whatever. If he sues them, I wouldn't mind him doing it because the WWE has been so racist for so long. This is my feeling about the WWE, and everybody, you can tell me if you believe I'm right or wrong. Taken away from any other promotion where some promotions are racist, some promotions are partially racist, and some are totally not. But when you see the WWE, the main reason is racist because of Vince himself. I believe this in WWE, that when Vince took over from his dad, and he had some racist tendencies, of course, when it comes down to it, there probably weren't that many racist people in the company originally. When he took over from his father, he probably wasn't that, the company probably wasn't as racist as it was at the time. It was a territorial company. But once it became international, I believe that the people that came in, they probably weren't really racist at first. But they became racist because of the example Vince set. And this is a problem I see with WWE. And I'm being honest here. I believe it's a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. You call for reconstruction. I think Chapter 11 means that you are fully going to go out of business. And Chapter 7 means that you can retool your business and state it and try to reformulate it into something more streamlined that saves you some money and you can come out of Chapter 7. But in the end, this is my feeling about it. And you guys can tell me below. Vince, I believe, is about 69 or 70 right now. Now, if he gets sick, or if he battery died, but like I said, if Vince gets sick, retires, or dies, that is going to leave a huge vacuum in that company. Right now, that company has been structured around Vince. As far as everything is concerned, he's the top of the pyramid. And as the one who's on top, he's one that sets the tone for anyone's attitude and action. And maybe the company was not heavily racist when he took it over, but once it became international, it became racist. And very, very callous in many cases, particularly what happened with Owen Hart dying, and they continued to show from that moment. A lot of people were angry at him for doing that. He should have stopped the show, gave people refunds, and then do something later. That shows you how callous Vince can be. Not saying he can't still be a good guy, but he can be. So when he finally retires, dies, or gets sick and have to leave because of it, I really believe that the WWE will eventually go into Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Because once they do, they have to retool the entire company from the ground up. And they can't just do it on the fly, particularly in a show sense of constantly seeing live events. They're going to have to basically go Chapter 7. Doesn't mean they won't still produce their product and still go live. But I really believe once he's gone, they have to do bankruptcy to prove to the people that we need to straighten ourselves out because we're a mess. And we don't have no money. That's just my feeling about it. Lastly, John Cena and Nikki Bella. And I know you're saying, what the hell are you bringing these two idiots in here for? We don't like them. I understand that. But see, in this respect, we have a major storyline going on. Well, two major storylines going on. Brock Lesnar and John Cena, and Nikki Bella, as well as a Stephanie McMahon. When you look at it, we don't have much care for John Cena at all. Many people want to see Brock Lesnar kick his ass just because they don't care about Cena. They don't really want to care that Brock Lesnar is a part-time wrestler that really, if he does win the title tomorrow, because this is being done on a Saturday, not going to give a fuck. Because once he wins that title, if he does, he'll have some appearances throughout the month, but then he's going to disappear for a while, have some appearances throughout the next month, going to disappear for a while, some appearances again. He's not going to do anything substantial. And if he does, what's going to happen after that? If he gives if he gives the title to someone else, if he's transitional, that's something entirely different. But if he's keeping it for more than a few months, do we care? We want to get rid of John Cena, but then you're stuck with someone just as bad. So when you see that, John Cena sucks because he's totally empty. When you look at Nikki, she basically has been getting her ass beat up constantly for months and months and months. And that's a part of the Brie Bella storyline. But you could give us something more than that. That stupid thing about Daniel Bryan having an affair with his trainer is stupid. It is. But seeing John Cena show attention to Nikki actually would give something interesting for both characters. And then give a dynamic that would be for Brie. And for Brock Lesnar. I'll elaborate on it right now. When you see John Cena, if John Cena ran out to the ring once in a while to really show concern for Nikki, he doesn't have to hug her, he doesn't have to kiss her, he just has to run out there and check her. This would give him so much legitimacy as a character. You have no idea. You get 5 times more interest than you are now. You know why? Because if you look at it in the perspective of this, like I said in one of my WWE reviews of Raw, I said if John Cena came out and defended his woman from Brock Lesnar, it would actually give something to the 18 to 34-year-old. You see, I'm botching because it angers me they don't do this. If Brock Lesnar came out to scare Nikki and John Cena came out to stop him, it will not be involving the title. It would give more depth. You wouldn't have to worry so much that the belt was interesting enough. John Cena would make it interesting because he's actually caring about his fucking woman. Who the fuck would let his woman get her ass kicked every single time? They're from Total Divas. I'm sorry. If they didn't want to show their real life relationship, he should never signed off on this. Having this in the show like a Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella was the wisest thing to do for them. because it went along with the storyline, even though you don't want to see Bree and Stephanie. I know. But you get my point. He's sick, Daniel Bryan. So his woman taking over for him would make some sense, even if it sucks. Cena dealing with Brock with Nikki in the middle of it would make sense. You can incorporate Bree into it saying, how are you? Saying, I'm fine, John's watching out for me. Don't worry about me. And then you could have something about Daniel Bryan coming out on video doing something, because if he can't walk there, it would add on to it. You see my point. It may not be great television, not going to be a great drama, but it would actually give you something interesting. And in this respect, who wants to see John Cena as he is, caring about the title? You'd rather see John trying to protect his woman from getting her ass destroyed by a Triple H, by a Stephanie who smacked the shit out of her with a mic, and every diva on the roster. And then on top of that, after getting her ass kicked by everybody, a Brock Lesnar comes out to threaten her, John comes out, John defends his woman, and that shows that he actually has a life, that he's a person, not Super Cena, who's like Superman of the 1938 cartoon series that was on, not on television, but in movies. And I'm talking about the old cartoons. When I was a kid, they showed old cartoons in schools that was on film of the 1938, 1939 Superman. Superman had no character. He was just a reporter that saved Lois Lane. A goody two-shoes that did absolutely nothing. This is John Cena. He has no personality, he has no depth. He just does the good thing. Show him with a Nikki Bella and you'll actually get some interest. Am I going to say it's great television? No. This is John Cena. But you can't tell me it wouldn't give you something better than this shit. So you get my point. Make John Cena and Nikki have their relationship on screen to a certain extent, and you will see something so different in their rivalry, talking about John Cena and Brock Lesnar. So I hope you enjoyed this debate of the week. Sorry my battery died, but it is a lot to talk about. And I will do my best. I really want to try and get this debate of the week series more time and more episodes. I will do my best, counting on my doctor's appointments and my interests. Tell me what you would like me to talk about next. I would love a suggestion because it's hard coming up with them when you don't really have a lot of interest. See ya!